How's everyone doing? Today I have an awesome package for my friend Daniel Varney on here. He messaged me on Facebook and asked if I was interested in any of these movies that he's getting rid of from his collection. And he sent me some packages in the past. We've done trades in the past. In fact, on his channel, I think the only video he has up is a trade package that I had sent him. And he's been on here for a while. We've talked for a while. I remember his old channel, I believe, was Turkey Sandwich, and he would do like guitar covers. And I think he had some like original songs that he did on there too. I don't think he has anything. Maybe I don't know if you still have the old channel still up or not. I gotta check that out. Actually, I think you were really talented. Hopefully, you are continuing with that. But we've talked a bunch over the years. A really nice guy, and I definitely appreciate this. I asked him, "Are you sure?" He said yes, and I know he said he sent me something extra in here too. So that is exciting. And I know you had talked about the packaging. I think you did a great job with the packaging. You got some awesome tissue paper right there, which I'm going to keep and reuse for Christmas next year. I have in the attic just like all kinds of like you know, wrapping paper and stuff that for different holidays. And this is good wrapping paper right here, you know? Look at that. It's a good stack. So I'm going to keep that for sure. More wrapping paper, a bunch of good wrapping paper, tissue paper rather, that I can reuse. And here is the note that he sent right there. Go ahead and read it real quick. And also, if you've seen any of these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them. And let me know which one is your favorite. Leave me those comments down below. And there's a book in here, too. He told me there was a book. And he says, Jay, hope this package finds you well. I apologize for the delays. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate you, man. You went out of your way to do this, and I think that's awesome. I threw in a small extra item because, well, why not? Not sure if you're a reader. I am a reader. Actually, I picked up a book recently, or semi-recently, Peter Straub and Stephen King, Talisman. So when I was younger, like I was really into, you know, murder mysteries and historical stuff. Now I feel like I'm definitely more like horror realm. Horror is my favorite genre for movies too. So kind of makes sense. Not sure if you're reading, but I figured why not for such a classic story. Best, Dan Varney. P.S. I just realized I've been following your channel for 12 years and I suddenly feel hideously old. How do you think I feel? I've been making videos for like 15 years on here, which is mind-blowing. And occasionally I will get comments of people saying, you know, I watched your video when I was 12, 13, whatever age, and now, you know, coming back and watching again as an adult, and it just blows my mind. People tell me, you know, I watched you when I was a kid, now I have kids, and it's just, it's crazy to hear that, but also really cool. And I appreciate you for, you know, staying with me for all this time. I still love making videos, talking movies, and collecting and stuff, so I'm going to continue to do this because I like doing it. It's awesome, and there's a great community on here. And I've made some good friends, so I definitely appreciate it, including you. And I definitely appreciate this package that you sent. I think that's really cool. Let's go ahead and actually I'm going to take everything out of here. Oh, all right. This is definitely a classic, and I don't have it, so that's awesome. I do have, I had a bigger collection of books, and then I trimmed it down to just the ones that I could see myself, you know, reading again. It's the same thing with movies. I only want to have things in my collection I can revisit, you know, rewatch, reread. So let me know, for you guys watching, do you have a favorite all-time book? Siddhartha, Herman Hesse. I don't know, that just struck a chord with me from when I was younger. You know, Captain Courageous too. There's certain movies from when I was a kid. I used to love the Hardy Boys when I was like a little kid. But certain books that just stick with you from when you're younger to as an adult. I think Siddhartha was kind of like transcendent, you know, spiritual journey aspect. And I always really loved that one. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into it. First up is, yeah, he let me know there's a bunch of ones, like a big list he had of movies that he was getting rid of from his collection. I have a pretty big collection, so I had most of them. There's only a couple that I didn't have, and he was willing to send those ones. So thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you, your support, your friendship, talking to you. I know we talked before. I remember when you got your new job, and, you know, just, it's cool to do that. Like, this is a fun outlet, a really cool outlet, and the best part, you know, I've had some really cool perks being on here, but the best part is getting to know people, making friends on here, friendships that have, you know, been long-lasting. So I love it. But first up is the director's cut of Dark City. I've seen this before, but it's been a while. and I've wanted to add this to my collection. It's a, you know, kind of like a sci-fi film noir. I remember just being very atmospheric. This guy wakes up and he finds out that he's like accused of murder, and there he finds out that there's these people that like can change, they can put people to sleep and change like the look to the city. So like the city's constantly changing, and I feel like it's like certain aspects are kind of like Matrix-esque, but this is different. I feel like there's a lot of depth here is what I'm going to say. They're different films, but there are some similarities there. This is directed by Alex Proyas, who directed I, Robot, which is a personal favorite sci-fi film of mine. Love the heck out of that one. He directed The Crow, which I am not a fan of. I feel like I'm the only person who isn't a fan of The Crow. And but this one, though, I'm really excited to revisit. I remember having a really good casting: Jennifer Connelly, William Hurt, and Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, a bunch of people in here. But really excited to revisit this one and finally add it to the collection. Definitely happy about it. I remember being really kind of unique sci-fi and kind of underrated too. Some good special features in here too, it looks like. So I like checking out the special features for movies that I enjoy. Even sometimes movies that I don't enjoy, I'm curious and I'll check out the special features, and I like the special features more than the movie. I remember I kept a couple movies for the special features, but I had to, you know, stop doing that. But, ooh, interior artwork. I definitely appreciate that too. Next up, we've got The Descent, the original unrated cut. And I, for whatever reason, do not have this Blu-ray in my collection. I have the DVD, and I was souped, actually. I've been meaning to pick this up for like ages. Directed by Neil Marshall, and he's directed a few movies that I like. This one and Dog Soldier, I feel like are, you know, modern, all-time classics. In fact, not just modern classics, but Dog Soldier is one of the best werewolf movies ever, in my opinion. Of course, you know, it's An American Werewolf in London. That's like everybody's pick. And then I feel like Dog Soldiers would be number 2. Then Silver Bullet would be on the list. That's usually rounding out like number 3. But one that I think is really underrated, I always try to mention it when I talk about werewolf movies. It's a British movie called Howl. Howl is so friggin' awesome and underrated. I never heard anybody talk about that one, but I loved the heck of that one. The Wolf of Snow Hollow, too, I really enjoyed. There's a few other ones, too. But Neil Marshall, incredible director. And Neil Marshall also directed the recent Hellboy movie with David Harbour. It's always going to be Hopper. Visually, Mila Jovovich was in there, too. Visually stunning, very aesthetically appealing. I didn't love the movie overall, though. I don't know. It's hard to live up to the Guillermo del Toro, Ron Perlman vision of it. And I remember the comic books for Hellboy back in the day, too, Mike Mignola. But I really think he is a talented director, Neil Marshall, so I will check out pretty much everything that he does in the future. He directed one out recently I haven't checked out, but I want to check out. It's called The Lair. But he did Doomsday, Centurion, a few other ones. But these are definitely my favorites from him, The Descent and Dog Soldiers. But this one was just claustrophobic, atmospheric, the creatures, so freaking creepy and awesome. It's about these friends, these girls who go into like this Appalachians to discover this hidden cave, and they go down there deep and they find out that there's these creatures. There's also like some drama between them as well, so I appreciate that aspect. And I love this movie. This is like an all-time favorite of mine. So definitely happy about that, and can't wait to revisit it on Blu-ray now. I was watching the outdated DVD for years. And there is a sequel to this one, which it was okay. It was just so derivative. It was very similar to this one, but classic right there. Next up is United 93. I have not seen this one. This is about, you know, the flight United 93 during 9/11, and the story of the people on the plane and taking down the terrorists. So the passengers and the crew, and just an incredible story, harrowing story that they probably saved so many more lives too. And this is directed by Paul Greengrass, who directed, interestingly enough, like a few other movies in this kind of realm, like 22 July, which is about the terrorist attack in Norway. I think it was like the deadliest attack there. And Captain Phillips, too, was just kind of, you know, taking over a vessel. So, and then he's directed a few of the Bourne Identity sequels, Jason Bourne, Bourne Ultimatum. I know there's another one, too, But he's directed a few films that I think are excellent. So I think he's a really talented director. He directed recently another one with Tom Hanks. He's worked with Tom Hanks a couple times. Captain Phillips and the one with the girl, Western one, News of the World. And then Born Supremacy too. So he's worked, I like, certain directors do that. They work with a lot of the same actors over and over again. Maybe they feel like, they can bring the best out of them acting wise and, to their film. And, but this one is one that I have not seen. I've wanted to see it. I know it's going to be something that'll be very emotional for me because I remember exactly where I was during 9/11. I was in, college at the time and I was working at Sam Goody. And I remember I walked in, my headphones on, I was assistant manager trainee. And I was turning everything on, and my manager came in and he said, turn on the TVs. And we never turn on the TVs. The only thing we ever played was Shrek every day. And I'm so tired of Shrek to this day because of that. But, we saw the second plane hit, and it was just, I felt like it wasn't real. Like, is this a dream? Is this really happening? And I remember that day was the release day for Jay-Z's Blueprint album, and there was another big album. And so, like, we were working all day. We couldn't take a break. It was the busiest day of sales for us in the history of Sam Goody at that location. And I feel like people were coming in, like, losing their minds and thinking, like, they're never going to have physical media again. No more music or anything like that. So they're buying CDs like crazy. And it was one of those things. It's like, it was our generation's JFK. And it's crazy to me. Like, I have friends who have, like, brothers and stuff. And there's, like, a guy in my fantasy football league. I have a couple of fantasy football leagues, but one of them, I want to say he's, like, I don't know, 28 years old or something like that. And, like, he doesn't really, like, he was, like, a little kid. And, like, it's so wild to me. Like, people that were, born in the year, say, 2000, who are, now 23 years old. Like, they have no real, they were, a baby, they were a child, toddler, or whatever. So it's just wild to me that so much time has passed. Time is unrelenting. But United 93, definitely excited for this one. Again, I really like Paul Greengrass as a director. Next up is one that I have never seen. I didn't even know existed, so I'm actually really excited about this one. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And this has Tony Todd in here. And I like Tony Todd, of course. Candyman, the original Candyman, is one of my all-time favorites. Great slasher, great 90s horror. And I feel like that franchise never got its just due. Like, the sequels, the second one, and then the third one, Day of the Dead, with Donna D'Errico, those were terrible. The recent one was actually really good. That mixed reviews, but I liked it. But I like Tony Todd as an actor. And this is directed by John Carl Buechler, who he directed some films. He directed the first Troll movie, actually, and Friday the 13th, New Blood. And then he's done a lot of, like, special effects work. He worked on, like, The Ghoulies 1 and 2, Garbage Pail Kids, From Beyond, Hatchet even. He's done a ton of stuff, a ton of, like, special effects and makeup and stuff like that. Been around for a long while. He passed away a few years ago, sadly. But I always liked him a lot in the business, everything that he did. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one, another iteration of, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let me know what your favorite iteration, adaptation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde has been. There's been so many of that. So, and next up is a set that I'm souped on. It's the Stephen King 6-film collection, although Bag of Bones, I believe, is a mini-series. I think a 2-part mini-series. I've seen all of them except for Bag of Bones and Apt Pupil. Apt Pupil, I really am excited to check out. It's one that I've wanted to see for a long time. It's directed by Bryan Singer, who directed a bunch of the X-Men movies and Superman Returns, but he also directed The Usual Suspects, which is an all-time favorite of mine. And Apt Pupil has Ian McKellar and then Brad Renfro. I remember him when he was younger. He was in The Client, which I loved. It's Sleepers, which is an incredible film. Love the heck out of that one. And The Cure, which I recently picked up. It was a Mill Creek Blu-ray release. And Apt Pupil also has Joshua Jackson, who will forever be Pacey from Dawson Creek. But he's also in The Fringe TV show, which was really good. Kind of crazy and bizarre. I feel like everybody talked about it for when it first came up, but I haven't heard anybody mention it in a long time. But he's also in The Skulls, which I really enjoyed that movie with Paul Walker in there too. I haven't seen the sequels yet. I did pick up the trilogy for that, and I do want to check that out soon. And then William Peterson in there too. Love the heck out of that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but got the Blu-ray for that one now, and I will revisit it, check out the sequels, and also Joshua Jackson was in Mighty Ducks. So yeah, he's been around for a while, but he has a supporting role here. And let me know also what your favorite Stephen King novel is and your favorite Stephen King adapted movie. There are some great ones out there for sure. The Shining, apparently he didn't like Kubrick's version, which is mind-blowing. He preferred the miniseries one, but ones that I think are underrated are Storm of the Century, a miniseries. I love that one. That one gets a lot of criticism, but that definitely deserves a Blu-ray release in my opinion. And then Nightflyer, a really good vampire movie that I never heard anybody mention. But let me know some Stephen King adaptations that you think are underrated and deserve more attention and love. So the Mighty Ducks trilogy, he was in all of those. But I haven't seen the recent TV show for Mighty Ducks. And there was an old animated TV show, which I remember watching as a kid and actually really liking the voice cast. And I feel like nobody ever knows what I'm talking about when I mention that one. It's actual ducks playing hockey, from what I remember. Like, you know, humanoid ducks, essentially. But yeah, so he was Joshua Jackson was a big part of my childhood, from, you know, Dawson's Creek, Mighty Ducks, and, you know, even the Skulls. So the fact that he's in here for a good supporting cast, and Fringe later on when I was a little bit older, but definitely adds to my interest in seeing that too for the cast. But I'm definitely excited to check Apt Pupil out. It's about this guy. I think he finds out that a 16-year-old honor student finds out that his maybe like a neighbor is a Nazi war criminal, or he thinks that he is. And so kind of like delves into that. Really kind of, I don't know, I've always been interested in seeing that movie. It looks like it was going to be really dark, and I feel like there's going to be like a twist of some sort. And then Bag of Bones, I heard really good things about. Novelist Mike Noonan, basically unable to cope after his wife's sudden passing, returns to their couple's lakeside retreat, and then there's like a custody battle with the widow's wealthy grandfather for the child right there. Then there's like a ghostly visitation, some supernatural stuff, and nightmares, and basically his wife has something to tell him. So I thought that was really intriguing. I remember the promotion for that. I've always wanted to check that out. And then, of course, you got Christine, which is a classic. Love the heck out of that one. One of the best, you know, killer car movies and car movies in general for me. But another great John Carpenter one. Then you got the Secret Window, which, like, I remember like feeling like you could see that twist coming. But I remember loving, the like unnerving creepiness to it, and just some of the acting too. And then Sleepwalkers from Mick Garris. And Mick Garris actually directed the Bag of Bones as well. Sleepwalkers I loved as a kid. The cats saving the day, but just all the cameos in there too. Really like Mick Garris. And then, of course, Stand By Me, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. So this is a cool collection. I have all the other films except for Apt Pupil and Bag of Bones. So I figured this was a good chance to be able to check them out. And there's all the discs are stacked like that. And then, going over the films right there. So I'm definitely going to be watching Apt Pupil and Bag of Bones soon. Probably Apt Pupil first. I'm amped on that. I'm souped. I've been wanting to see that for so friggin' long overdue. And then next up we have the Final Destination 5 film collection. I have just I think the first one, and I don't have any of the sequels in my collection, so now I can have them. I don't think I saw I know I saw the second and third one, but I don't think I saw the other two. So I can check those out now as well. So that is awesome. When I was younger, hard to believe, but everybody told me I looked like Devon Sawa. People told me I looked like a lot of different people growing up as a kid, but Devon Sawa was the only one that I actually saw the resemblance to. You can't tell now. Very different. But I remember I had dyed my hair blonde, and right after that, he did the Stan music video. And I remember my friend called me up and said, "You're on TV?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And, it was for the music video for Stan. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, so the first Final Destination obviously has Devon Sawa. I love that one, by the way, that film. Definitely a favorite of mine. So I'm excited to check out the ones in this collection that I haven't seen, and then revisit the ones that I have seen. It's been a long time. And then that's right there, the stacked discs in there for that. Now, the book that he sent over is actually awesome because I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie. And I know there was a new take on it as well. I don't know if it was it's the miniseries event. It's Rosemary's Baby. So this is one I have not read. I'm excited to check out to see how different it is from the film adaptation. I haven't seen the miniseries, so, but, you know, the classic film right there from Roman Polanski. But I love, that's a classic for me, so I'm definitely excited to check out the novel right here. I want to see the comparisons to it, because a lot of times, you know, they take liberties when they adapt the film, and you can't put every single detail from the book into the movie. But I'm definitely curious to see if there were any, you know, big differences there. And let me know what your favorite film adaptation is from, you know, book to the big screen. I try not to compare. I remember when I was a little kid and I first watched Jurassic Park. I read the Michael Crichton novel and I loved it so friggin' much. And then it came out in the movies and I did not like the movie. Now I like it. But at the time, you know, your imagination, you can make so much in your mind, and just didn't live up to me on the big screen. I know that's crazy to say. I feel like I'm the only person as a kid, and I was like the only one that didn't like it. But I try not to compare the books to the film adaptations, because it's just unfair to do so. You can't put every detail, and your mind creates, you know, different things as well, and, you know, your vision, and that's going to be changed. And you know, the filmmakers and producers, their vision is going to be slightly different than the book. But the only two movies that I can think of that were actually better than the books they were adapted from was Irvin Welsh's Trainspotting. That film was just incredible, and the book was great too. And then also Chuck Palahniuk's Fight Club. Fight Club. That was, both of those movies are like perfection for me. 10 out of 10s. Rosemary's Baby as well. 10 out of 10 for me. So yeah, those are the only two ones that I can remember thinking like, I actually prefer the movie, and the books were great. But yeah, let me know if there's a movie that you think was actually better than the book that it was adapted from. But thank you so much for the Rosemary's Baby book, and then the movies as well. Really awesome, very generous, very kind. Thank you so much. I actually recently gave some DVDs away, so, you know, pay it forward. And it's funny because I feel like there's like a cycle of that, because I gave some movies away, and then somebody bought some movies and I put a bunch of extras in for them, and then this. So it's a cool cycle right there. And I think that's awesome. And I actually gave away a bunch of movies recently. I've done some physical media giveaways. I want to do some more digital copy giveaways too, because I have some digital copies I haven't utilized. So look forward to that in the future. But thank you so much to Daniel Varney. Very awesome. I hope you're keeping up with the music. I want to see some more. If you ever get a chance, I know life is busy, make some videos on here again. The guitars, you're awesome, talented. So again, thank you so much. Super awesome. And thank you for your friendship and your support on here too. And for everybody who's been continuing to watch me after all these years, it really does mean a lot to me. Again, I've been making videos for 15 years on YouTube, which is friggin' mind-blowing to me. I had another channel before this one, pretty similar name, same stuff. And then I think my channel was like hacked, something weird with the email. And then I just created a new channel, and I got the other channel back, but then I had already had this channel for a little bit. So this is, you know, this is the way it's been. I'm keeping it this way. I've actually been debating about changing the channel name too. Who knows? That might actually happen. I've been kind of leaning towards doing that, even though I've had this channel name for so friggin' long. But I still love talking movies, talking collecting on here. It's a fun time. It's a great community. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to make friends on here and to talk to like-minded people, and even hearing differing opinions. You know, again, there's certain movies like The Crow. I'm like the only person I know who didn't like that. So I still don't like that one. I actually watched that again like a few years ago, and still not for me. And I think I'm the only person. But that's okay. We can, you know, have differing opinions and still, you know, obviously there's a lot of movies that we will agree on. But, you know, differing opinions is a good thing for movies especially. You know, you don't want everything to be the same, because that's how it would be. You know, all the movies would be just very super formulaic and predictable, more so than they even are now. But let me know, again, if you've seen any of these movies or if you've read the book as well, and let me know what you think of them, and let me know which one of these is your favorite. Leave me those comments down below, and I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you again, Daniel Varney. You rock, and take care.